together with Steph and Julian.
Hey guys,
Julian Liniger from Relai. Great to have you here. And we had earlier Adam Bilichan on the show, so we know, of course, Relai. Talked with him, enjoyed it very much, but it's great to finally meet you also. So
thank you.
And you also had a talk, right, today?
No, I have it tomorrow. I was at the live news desk right before, and now I have a couple of interviews. Very spontaneous. Like, I can't believe how many media and podcasters are there. It's great. Like, I'm running basically from interview to I feel like a celebrity. It's so cool.
It's more international this time, more European international, so with a lot of communities here. And I think that's great because they all want to share the stories in a native language, right?
Absolutely. And I can't believe how many people from how many different countries are still interested. I mean, we're in deep bear market, guys, for around 2 years now. To
be honest, last year it was like the first conference, the first big conference here in Europe. And it was very crowded, and we were like, it was better than we expected, right? And for this year, I had some doubts, to be honest, because we are in a real deep bear market, and so I was like, well, if we can get to half the population of last conference, we will do it's good, But I think, it's maybe the same as last year, right? Maybe even this year.
I think, with the rise of Nostr this year, the Lightning developers, there's a lot of movement there. So this is the time to build, and I think people who are interested in experimenting have more room now and more time to do that. And I think this conference comes at a great moment because now, it's still quiet.
And nobody's talking about the price. I mean, that's great.
Indeed.
There is nothing to talk about.
No.
It's more about the narrative and about experimenting and solutions that rise.
It's really promising how the Bitcoin builders, the Bitcoin entrepreneurs, the devs, they're all investors as well. They don't care. They just stick with it. They build their things. They ship new products. Like,
so
it's also
there's
crazy.
a generic belief now, and I think that's where we can build everything upon. So it's not going to change like that anymore.
Absolutely, it talks to the resistance of this ecosystem already.
Yeah, indeed.
And where's your talk going to be about tomorrow?
I will be, I think, on the. I don't even know, to be honest. Not on the main stage. I will have a panel discussion on one of these stages here. Is there a Nakamoto stage?
I think it's the one above here.
Above, this is a smaller stage.
I think this one. It's going to be the very last panel discussion about European exchanges, and after that, there's going to be the wrap-up. But it's going to be fun together with Coinbase.
Cool.
From Coinbase. So they're basically our big brother, if you will. And it's going to be fun for sure.
And for the people that didn't saw the episode with Adam Bilichan, maybe you can elaborate a bit about Relai. What is Relai? Nice shirt, by the way. No, talk us through. What is Relai? What do you guys do?
Sure. So at Relai, we want to make stack sats as easy as possible for people. So Relai, we have started it a bit more than 3 years ago, and by now we are the #1 Bitcoin app in Europe. So we're the #1 fiat to Bitcoin only on-ramp. So you can download the app if you live in Europe, and within 1 minute from $10 already, 24/7, you can buy Bitcoin, you can set up a savings plan, and you have the Bitcoin in your own non-custodial wallet, so there's no counterparty risk. People really like this concept because it's a really small burden of entry for newcomers. So Bitcoiners like it because it makes their life easy, also to dollar cost average, set up an automatic savings plan, but also because they can onboard newcomers, they can orange bill their friends and their people with it. We are on a mission to make Bitcoin super easy and get some sats into everyone's pocket.
And do you focus on Europe or bigger or?
Currently Europe. Because of regulatory constraints, but mainly also because it's a huge market and it's an underserved market. So there's 400 million people. 25 million SMEs, and only around 10% of them are into Bitcoin. So there's still a lot of work for us to do before before we then expand to other continents as well.
Yeah, cool. And in a recent interview in BTC Prague, you referred to Bitcoin as the best saving technology ever invented. Can you elaborate on how the design of Bitcoin specifically caters to this notion of saving, especially in the long term?
Yeah, so saving is kind of the aspect of holding your purchasing power on the long run, right? Over decades and even generations. And it is very hard to do this with assets that we know today. I mean, there's fiat currency that obviously is devaluated a lot. Like the US dollar has lost around 90% of its purchasing power in the last 100 years. So it's not a good way to transfer generational wealth at all.
No.
Then there is gold or things like real estate, like real assets or land that are good in keeping purchasing power, but they're hard to maintain. Like they're physical, you need to have them in a safe, or you need to own them and maintain them. Like that, you cannot transfer them easily. So there are a lot of problems with that as well. And we are not the only ones. Like for example, Fidelity, they just released a new kind of update on their report on why Bitcoin is the best store of value. And obviously, Michael Saylor talks a lot about this. If you compare Bitcoin to other potential store of value assets like gold or fiat currencies, and you take the 7 most important characteristics that a good store of value asset and good money effectively needs to have, like scarcity, portability, transferability, divisibility, track record, and all that kind of stuff. But mainly scarcity is the main thing here, the main core thing. Then it is actually better than these other assets. It's a better designed savings technology, and that's what we truly believe. We have done our homework on this for several years. We believe that there is, at the current state, no better asset that kind of human beings have invented or found to store purchasing power on the long run, and that's why we are Bitcoin only, and we're doing everything we can to bring Bitcoin to more people.
Yeah, fun story. I mean, it is not a fun story at all, but my grandmother, she saved money for all the grandchildren, for me also, to buy a car and my driver's license. So she saved, it was 1,500 euros, and she passed away before I was born. I'm 34 now. And by the time I got the money, because when we were turning 18, we all got the money that she saved for us. And by the time I got the money, it was 1,500 euros. By the time she saved it, it was easily enough to buy a car and to get your driver's license. And I had a hard time to only get my driver's license for that 1,500 bucks, So it's crazy, man.
Devaluation. That's crazy.
And I'm curious. Are you also encouraging your customers or clients? I don't know how to state it, but are you also encouraging them to save within Relai, or?
Absolutely. In the end, we're a savings app, right? So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to buy Bitcoin, as said, in 1 minute without big registration and verification processes, and also to save money on the long run. Meaning you can set up an auto invest plan, let's say 50 bucks a week or 100 bucks a month or whatever, and then you set it up once. You set up your payment methods. You can use credit card or bank transfer, with the standing order, and then just let it flow. And every week or every month you get some sats into your pocket, basically, into your Relai wallet as well. So we want to encourage that. We even charge less fees if you have an automatic savings plan, just because we believe at the true potential of DCA, dollar cost averaging. If you believe an asset will go up in the long run, obviously if it's volatile in the short run, it doesn't matter, or it's even good. Because then if you do dollar cost average, let's say 100 bucks a week, then whenever the price is high, you buy a bit less. Whenever the price is low, like right now, you buy a bit more. And on the long run, you always have a lower and lower average price that you get into. That's also, by the way, how Michael Saylor does it. That's how he's doing it on the long run, and that makes a lot of sense.
It's also good for newcomers, right? Because the volatility, you have to explain it, and dollar cost averaging (DCA) is a good way to have your savings safer.
100%. Yeah, it's the best way. If you believe in the long run, even if it's 10, 20 years, it goes up. Then you don't care if it's volatile on the short run. Like if you ask anyone here, probably will Bitcoin be above, let's say, 40k or 50k? Like, will it be higher than right now in 10 years? Everyone will scream like hell yeah. So if you think that, then what you should do is set up a regular automatic savings plan and just peace of mind to let it flow. That's it.
You also emphasized, I think you just answered it, but the importance of time in the market over timing the market, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't really time the market. It doesn't matter which asset, but you never know when it goes up, when it goes down. There's so many factors you can't possibly research. Like if you maybe have an AI like Aladdin at your disposal,
perhaps,
like BlackRock, then you can maybe try to time the market. But if you're just a normal person, like we're all here,
not possible to beat it.
Not possible. So the longer you are in the market, meaning that you just have a dollar cost average, and as we discussed before, and you let it run, you will. This is a better strategy for you, and you will make a better return on investment on the long run.
And given the success of Relai in European countries like Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, what are trends or patterns have you observed regarding how users from these countries approach Bitcoin as a saving technology? You already incentivize them to make a plan, but what are trends that you observe?
Well, what we see is that despite the bear market, more and more people are coming in, and it's driven by education. That's also why we are doing a lot of education, but we work together with influencers as well, content producers, YouTubers, bloggers, on all the different channels. There are great content creators, podcasters, etc., etc. And also with the press, they are getting to write better and better pieces about different topics of Bitcoin. And we see the more people learn about Bitcoin, the more they get convinced, and also the more they then want to spend on Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin, right? So, and then usually the behavior we see that from no coiner, they get orange pilled through an influencer, through content online, and then they try it out, with a small amount, let's say $20 or $50, and then they see how easy it is to buy, but also to hold your Bitcoin yourself, and then you think, wow, this is pretty cool. I don't need a bank for that. It's 24/7, like it's independent, it's non-custodial, there's no counterparty risk. That's pretty cool. And so then they start investing more, bigger amounts, and they set up a savings plan, so they really keep doing this, also with bigger and bigger amounts. So for example, then what we also see is the more users we get and the higher the retention, also when the price is volatile. For example, we had this day where I think the price fell 5% in one day.
Yeah.
We had massive inflow. Like we had 3 times more activity than usual.
Cool.
So also these people also become massive dip buyers.
Yeah.
So first no coiner, then they do a single trade, then they do DCA, and then they do buy the fucking dip. That's the last thing.
Nice, cool.
And DCA strategy, like we're talking about, works well with traditional assets that are volatile and tend to go up, such as real estate also. Do you foresee a future where these assets and Bitcoin are intertwined in investment portfolios? So perhaps more real estate?
Yeah, definitely in the near future, or already now. I think it's clear that people are having diversified portfolios, so they put something in stocks, maybe also dividends, because they want to have some payments, because they maybe need to use their bills, right? And then they have real estate, they maybe have bonds that now also pay kind of an interest rate of 5% again. It's fiat money, it devalues on the long run, but in the short run to pay stuff or to reinvest, this can make sense. And then commodities, like you said, gold, for example, or even oil, which is still used. The price will go up as the demand of the economy rises for this. And Bitcoin and even other digital assets. I think now this is already this has already started, and it will accelerate once BlackRock, for example, comes out with their ETF, and like Bitcoin finds its way into the normal traditional finance market.
That's real tipping point.
Yeah. And I think they will be all these assets, including Bitcoin, will live in a parallel system still for a long time. But I think that Bitcoin will take more and more of kind of the mind share of investors in the next decades. That's for sure, because more and more investors will find out that it is the best store of value in the long run.
Everyone will get orange pilled eventually, right? I mean,
I believe so.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I'm as bullish as you are. Hey, to wrap things up, Relai, you guys are really about simplifying Bitcoin for the user. Are there any things planned for you? Any services that you want to roll out, or is it easy to to get innovation within Relai? Because I can imagine that keeping everything simple is and innovate at the other end. Yeah, it's hard to combine, right? I mean, do you guys have any plans in the future?
Yeah, that's true. Albert Einstein actually said that the hardest thing is make something simple, or something like that. Like, it's super difficult and super complicated to make something simple. That's true for us as well. Like, in the background, there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of complicated problems to solve in order to make things very easy for the user, and that's what we're working on every day. Concretely, yes, we are having big plans for the future, and like smaller things and bigger things. Smaller things like we want to make the backup process way easier for newcomers, so that they don't even have to store their 12 words if they don't want to. They just use Bitcoin, and they don't have to be afraid that when they lose their phone, they don't have their backup.
Make it simpler.
Yeah, that's a big pain point still for our users. And then making the whole wallet part better to also make payments, send and receive. To have savings pockets, for example, so that you can set up a savings plan not only for you but also for your kids.
Yeah, cool.
Stuff like that. Social sending, so they can send money not to an address but actually to a person in your contact book.
Yeah, cool.
So there's a lot of small things that can make the experience way better, and that we are always looking at them, prioritizing and getting them to work and implement them. And then on the big lines, when Lightning is the number one question we get asked for 3 years.
It's good that you ask yourself, because otherwise one of us did. So.
No, indeed.
We are now actually working very concretely on this, and very soon there will be an announcement on that topic.
Cool.
Ooh, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Julian, for our talk here, and enjoy your panel discussion tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck, man.
And till next time.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, man. We keep in touch, man.
Yeah.